One God, oneness of religions, that we're all facing the same direction, whether we admit it or not, whether we believe it or not, whether we are willing to just live in that energy. There is only one power, one presence, one goodness, one light, one love throughout all creation. And I would love any one of my colleagues here, my friends, to speak about the idea of one God from the Baha'i perspective. They're going to be shy.
No. Thank you, friends, for allowing us to be among you. And I love the idea of being the bridge builder. My answer to your question from the Baha'i perspective is the song you sang. That is the answer. There is only one God, unknowable essence, creator of all humanity and all that is on earth, who created all of us out of great love for us. We will never know him the same way as a table made by a carpenter will never be able to understand the mind of the carpenter. We are finite, and God is infinite.
There's a Baha'i quote that I think kind of sums up the entire weekend, the entire presentation. It says, "There can be no doubt whatever that the peoples of the world of whatever race or religion derive their inspiration from the same heavenly source and are the subjects of one God." And I teach comparative religion classes, and what I try to show people is that the world's religions, namely Hinduism, Buddhism, Zoroastrian, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and Baha'i, all teach essentially the exact same things. And that from a Baha'i perspective, they're not separate and distinct. They're all interrelated, they're all interconnected, they're all part of the same process. And that's why we don't have any problems joining hands in friendship with the people of the Unity Church. So I think I'll end my comments with another Baha'i quote.
Hold the mic close.
Another Baha'i quote that diversity in the human family should be the cause of love and harmony, as it is in music, where many different notes blend together into the making of a perfect chord. We don't have to all be the same, but we are united. And I celebrate this weekend. Thank you.
Harold, can I say something?
One thing, friends, God is too big to understand. You cannot understand somebody that can invent billions and billions of planets throughout this universe. He's outside of the universe. And the only way we know about God is because someone told us there's a God. And that has come from his messengers. Whether it was Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Baha'u'llah, Abraham, we know about God because someone said there's a God and has told us how to worship him. God is too big to understand. And he wants us to understand him through his messengers only. He doesn't speak to us directly, we don't think. But his messengers speak for him to us through his words. Moses, the 10 Commandments. Jesus, love one another as I have loved you also. Pray for those who misuse you. Turn the other cheek. Feed the hungry. Heal the sick. That's how God speaks to us, through his messengers. So God is beyond anything we could ever understand. The closest we can get is through Jesus, who said, "It is not my work, but it is the works of the Father who sent me to you to do his works."
One of the most beautiful things that came up in our discussion over the weekend, the Baha'i writings have the male pronouns, as does Charles Fillmore in his writings, for the essence of God. And it was so beautiful to me to say that, to remember the truth, that in the Persian language, in the translation, it became male dominant when it came to this culture, when it came to be translated into English. Can any of you speak about, just briefly, about the word that is not male or female, the unknowable, as you've said. It is beyond any human construct of male and female. Anybody care to comment?
Yeah, the language in Farsi, which is the language that Baha'u'llah wrote, and Arabic, there is no he or she. You are referred to as u, which implies he or she, because the soul does not have gender. The soul does not have color. The spirit cannot be identified with form and shape. It is infinite, it's manifestation of beauty, but it's not to be described with one thing. For example, when you think of white light, it is combination of many colors. But when all those colors merge together, we will have this great white light of heaven. So,
well, tell me the word again. The word is? So how would it be if we were to greet each other as brothers and sisters facing the same direction in the light, rather than recognizing you as a man or a woman, to just go, ooh. Ooh. Joel, did you want to say something?
There are many Baha'i principles. The two major ones that we focus on the most are the elimination of racism and the promotion of the oneness of humanity. And in the Baha'i writings, it clearly says that men and women are equal. There's no distinction. So the Baha'i quote is, women and men have been and will always be equal in the sight of God. And another quote says, when all mankind shall receive the same opportunity of education and the equality of men and women be realized, the foundations of war will be utterly destroyed.
We spoke very much in depth yesterday, and I was profoundly moved by the discourse of the divine feminine needing to rise to power right now. That for too long, and I actually stood before my brothers and sisters and apologized on behalf of all men who have subjugated that feminine energy, not only on the planet, but within their own self. And it was fun to dialogue about the rising and the coming of feminine power that is in our culture right now. It is needed. It is good. It is holy. And I, as a male, welcome it in myself and on the planet.
I think, can I share? You know, there is a passage from Baha'u'llah that I always enjoy tremendously. And he said, humanity is like a bird which has two wings. One is male, one is female. Unless both wings are strong enough, the bird of humanity cannot soar to its highest destiny. So it is not just the responsibility of women to develop themselves, or men, but these two wings are complementary, and each has to strive to balance the power of each so that the bird of humanity can soar.
I think the challenge that we have as human beings is, if we believe that this God created this planet and all of us in it, male and female, God had a purpose for that. So the question should be, what is the purpose God created male and female? And it was never to be one over the other, to be the balance, the wings of each other. Baha'u'llah said in the next world of God, there is no male and female. We're spirits anyway. The physical body is particularly here to develop the spirit, so when the body dies, the soul goes on to the next world of God, and there is no gender. Gender is for a purpose here, to create, to procreate, to build this bridge of love and unity of harmony. So as we pass through this plane of existence, we are prepared for the next level. The next level is the spirit that goes forth, the soul that goes forth, and the body stays here. So the question again is, why did God create male and female? Not that there's a problem. God didn't create the problem. We created the problem by making these distinctions and differences. But we're together to be one with each other. That's the purpose.
So one of the things that we talk about in our final time of moments together is, we ended our time last night with the understanding that Baha'ism is a blueprint for peace on earth. We as bridge builders standing on either side, either shore, maybe on the same shore, wanting to meet in the middle, the eventual goal is peace on earth. We sing here at Unity many, many Sundays, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I would love for you all to comment in your final moments here about the Baha'i plan for peace on earth. The blueprint. In 30 seconds or less.
From my 10-second, Baha'is across the globe, in 100,000 localities today in the world, there are small Baha'i communities committed to the building of peace as Unity people are in this space. What I heard in last 2 days, and I marked my sheet of Unity principles, everything I underlined saying I agree 100% with everything I heard. But it's hopeful to know that Baha'is in 100,000 localities in the world today, in Japan, in Papua New Guinea, in Nepal, in Amazon, they are getting together, collecting rocks, collecting sands, engage in process of bridge building for all of humanity. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is loved.
In the good book it said, in that day, they will beat their plowshares into pruning hooks and study war no more. No more. That day is not here yet. In the Baha'i writings it says, no power can exist except through unity, which is what we're doing today, bringing the differences together and forming a unity. No welfare and no well-being can be attained except through consultation. The future and salvation of this planet will be when we come together with our differences and learn how to consult with each other. That'll be the salvation of humanity. That's it.
In the Baha'i writings, it says that change, spiritual transformation, is conditioned upon 3 things: knowledge, volition, and action. We have to know what we want to do, we have to have the will to do it, and then we have to do it. So hopefully we can proceed this weekend from here and continue to build bridges. So.
One of the things that emerged from our time together, and Julie Bonneger has been driving this, and it's going to happen, is if talk is cheap. We've said that a number of times over the weekend. And there is a commitment that these 2 communities of people that have come together are going to do a service project to take the love outside of our walls, outside of what's going on here. This is Unity Principle number 5. Get your body busy. Can I get you guys to stand?
Yes.
These fine people, and this is only the tip of the iceberg of the wealth here and the love that is here. I'm going to ask you to put your hands, your arms around each other's shoulders. And let me go into our meditation. April, please come forward. And your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. And you shall raise up the foundations of many generations. And you shall be called repairers of the breach. I invite you to, during this meditation, if you are so led, let it be a meditation experience together. Somebody you don't know maybe next to you, reach out and hold their hand for a moment and give a squeeze and says, I've got my stone. Do you have yours? I'll meet you in the middle. Let's take these ideas into a time of stillness, of quiet, and meditation.